What's going on, everyone? Last year, actually around this time in April, I believe it was April 5th, I did a video on Feyenoord and their rise in Dutch football and how I believe they could be the next Dutch Giants. Fast forward now a year and a couple days, and their manager, Arne Slot, who I covered in a major part of that video, is now moving to my club, Liverpool. And on social media, there has been a lot of skepticism on, is this going to work? Is he the manager to lead us forward? Can he do anywhere near what Klopp did? Because everyone's going to be comparing who's up next at Liverpool for the managerial job to what Jurgen Klopp has done for us, where he's taken the club, the culture he's created and cultivated, and what he has been able to do by developing a lot of our young players. And a lot of people on the interwebs are not fully confident that Arne Slot is able to do that. And I believe that is because people aren't really that well informed on what Arne Slot has accomplished in his career, which managerial-wise has not really been that long. At least compared to Jurgen Klopp, that is. So today we're going to be taking a look at what he has done so far at the clubs he has managed, the type of culture he has cultivated, and what we kind of can expect, tactically speaking, once he arrives at Liverpool, as it is now all but confirmed that Arne Slot is going to be the next Liverpool manager. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So who exactly is Arne Slot? Well, he is a young Dutch manager that I believe is probably one of the top 5 young managers within the world of football right now. Throughout the majority of his playing career, he played at PEC Zwolle, which that is where he got his start being a manager of any sort. He ended up being a coach for them, but he earned himself a shot at being a full-time manager at the club SC Cambuur, who are currently in the 2nd division in the Netherlands. While there, he took them from a 14th place to a 3rd place finish, along with a semi-final cup appearance as well in the Dutch Cup, which is a very, very competitive cup. Now, after accomplishing that feat with SC Cambuur, he ended up earning himself a move to AZ Alkmaar. Now, keep in mind, this move to AZ Alkmaar, it was during the COVID years. So, unfortunately, the league got cut short. However, where they were at that point in time was mightily impressive. They were 2nd in the league on 56 points, which is absolutely incredible because that was his first stint at a bigger club. Fast forward after the COVID years, and he then earns himself a move to Feyenoord, where he has absolutely dominated the past couple of years. He led them to a European final in the Conference League, unfortunately losing to Jose Mourinho AS Roma. They then took the league by storm and absolutely dominated their way to a title, which was their first in a very, very long time. And then after that, he's added a Dutch Cup as well. So the man knows how to get his side to win trophies. And as any club, that's all you can wish for, is having a manager that knows how to get his side to perform to a level to where you are adding multiple trophies to your trophy cabinet over a long period of time, hopefully. But when it comes to team building, he has done it to kind of the level that Jurgen Klopp has done. He doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot of money. Any money that he does end up having while at Feyenoord, when he has been building these sides, as he's kind of had to do 3 rebuilds during his time there due to outgoings of either players that were in on loan or players that end up getting snapped up because of how well the team was performing. He kind of does it like Jurgen Klopp does. He looks for value where people may not see it and turns those players into absolute world beaters, into mentality monsters, which he shows his loyalty to the players and they show loyalty in return. He's created a culture that is basically everyone is moving in the same direction. Everyone is on the same page. It's not everyone's on different pages in different books like at other clubs. And by earning that loyalty, earning the trust of his players, he's also earned it from the fans. The fans, club, absolutely love him. And Arne Slot is honestly a big reason as to why I started following Feyenoord and keeping up with how they were doing, because I think that this dude has that it factor about him and knowing how to kind of create that culture that players want to be at that club and want to play for that manager. which sounds a lot like what Jurgen Klopp has been able to do. When it comes to player development, he is very, very good about that, and he is very good at explaining his principles to the players and kind of, I guess, in a way, educating them in the ways of his style of football, which thankfully for us Liverpool fans, we're going to kind of be used to the way that he plays because he does like a pressing style of football. However, one manager that he has studied a boatload is none other than Mr. Pep Guardiola, so we're going to see a lot of creativity within the side as well. But two players that I think he has done a really, really good job with over his time at Feyenoord is David Hanko and Lusterel Gertrudia. I believe that is how you say his name. It's kind of challenging. But both of those players are absolutely phenomenal players to watch, and I think they could probably play at a Premier League level if he wished to bring them along. I'm pretty sure he will probably bring at least one of the two, because they can both perform in the roles that he expects of them to exceptional levels. And another player that he has really helped kind of grow into a budding star is Santi Jimenez, the Mexican striker. He is a big time difference in why they have had the success that they've had last year as well as this season as well. But he has helped develop Santi Jimenez basically into the new talisman even for the Mexican national team, because however Santi Jimenez goes, the whole Mexican national team kind of is going to be going along with how he performs. And when you can help develop a player to that point, that is very impressive. There is another player in the midfield that I think is kind of the engine to how his system runs, and that is Mats Vifer. That kid is an absolute baller, absolutely fantastic, and I could definitely see him potentially wearing Liverpool red come this summer. But when it comes to Arne Slot's system, how does it exactly work? How would players from Liverpool currently fit into it, or even players that he might bring over from Feyenoord fit into it? Let's take a look now. So Arne Slot sets up in one of my favorite tactical formations, the 4-2-3-1. I think you can do just about anything you want to accomplish with a 4-2-3-1, and he most definitely proves it because it's very interchangeable, it's very dynamic, and it is awesome to watch and witness. So currently on the pitch, you see what is, in my opinion, probably our best 11 if we were to play this system with Arne Slot, and he makes no changes to how it operates. You could argue swapping out Nunez for Jota, but I think that Arne Slot could definitely help develop Nunez, kind of like he has done with Santi Jimenez. Now, what I love about this system is that it is still going to allow Liverpool to be getting the best out of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Hopefully we extend his contract so that he stays. But what ends up happening is that Sobo will probably move over to the left, McAllister will come up, Endo moves in, you have Trent and Robertson inverting as well. So they play like inverted wingbacks. They are a part of the build-up and a part of the playmaking and creativity within the side. However, the role that Trent would be in would definitely be more so the playmaker than the defensive style one that Arne Slot likes to use, because he does tend to have one of them that are inverted be more defensive, the other a little bit more creative and attacking. And we know with the ability that Trent has, he will most likely be the one in that more creative and attacking role. Now, this is a wider system. It's not really narrow, kind of like how Pep likes to have his system. So Arne Slot does like his system, even though it is slightly influenced by how Pep plays, to be wider. And that width comes from the wingers. They like to stay wide, but then they cut inside, and they get into a lot of free space. So say the ball is over here, more towards the right side of the pitch. You'll notice that I have left Diaz kind of free roaming in no man's land. The reason why that is because one of the wingers usually stays pretty wide, because if they end up winning the ball, say Salah wins the ball, he can hit that cross to him over to Diaz, and then Diaz is in on goal with Nunez coming back, Sobo coming back, McAllister coming back, and he has options either to move the ball off or to go for goal himself. And with the high quality that we have within our side, we will definitely be able to pull that off quite a bit. Now, one thing that is pretty interesting about this system is the way that Santi Jimenez operates within the system. He is in a lot of ways like a target forward. Even though he is only 6 foot, they do try and utilize the size and strength that he has. And thankfully for Liverpool, they do have 2 strikers with some pretty decent size. Yes, they could probably put on a little bit of strength to get to a Santi Jimenez level, but in Darwin Nunez and Cody Gakpo, both players have the size and ability to kind of operate in a role like that. And if instead of using Darwin Nunez up top, and we were instead to use Cody Gakpo, he brings an element that Darwin Nunez has he's been trying to add to his game. It's yet to get to a level like Cody Gakpo, though, and that is playmaking ability. Because Cody Gakpo can not only play up top, he can play on either wing, he can play as a number 10. We've even tried to utilize him in central midfield at times as well, due to his playmaking ability, but also he offers that size. So being a target forward as Cody Gakpo, that could probably work pretty well in our favor. But there is also another striker that we could utilize that can kind of play like Cody Gakpo does, although he doesn't offer the height that Cody Gakpo does. And that player is Mr. Jota. I think that Jota could be absolutely fantastic in a system like this and kind of be like a complete forward in a way, kind of being able to do anything Arne Slot may need him to do, whether it be playmaking or goal scoring wise. Now, one player that I think is going to absolutely flourish in Arne Slot's system is Mr. Alexis McAllister. Now, Alexis McAllister is an absolutely phenomenal player. He was amazing at Brighton. He's amazing for the Argentinian national team, and he has been one of our best players this season. Arguably, probably one of the top 2 players as far as this season. And the role that he will be utilizing is one that if you play Football Manager, which a majority of my viewer base does, he kind of plays like a segundo volante in a way. So Szoboszlai will be a playmaker further forward, but McAllister will be that playmaker that arrives late, and he will be able to exploit not only passing lanes that he will see, but also goal scoring opportunities for either himself or his teammates. And I think with this role to where he is arriving late, kind of moving into the space, which it kind of creates like in this way, if it were to say like this, a 4-1-4-1, but with those inverted wingbacks, if they were to both invert, it would be a 2-3-4-1 or a 2-3-5, which that is where you see the Pep Guardiola-ness kind of come in. That's a new word, by the way. But this will allow him to kind of get the production levels that he was having at Brighton within a role like this, because yes, he contributes goal and assist wise for us massively and in very clutch moments. But I think in a role like this, we could see him produce even more in both of those areas. But being that we have some flexibility with the players that are already at the club, we could definitely see another player playing that role, which would move McAllister to where Endo is. That player would be Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. If Arne Slot wanted him to more so play this playmaker role, be a little bit further forward, more involved, creatively, goal scoring ability wise, because Trent definitely does have that goal scoring ability, we could definitely see him playing this role, and we move McAllister to that ball winner that Endo would kind of be. That would be his role if it were Endo here, McAllister here, Trent at right back. But being that Arne Slot is very good at developing players and getting them integrated into his system and kind of buying in, we could definitely see Connor Bradley be doing that role of Trent instead, so that Trent can kind of move into that midfield and be more involved in the attacking play. And now there are 2 other positions that I kind of want to talk about as well. One is the number 10, and then the other is the right winger. First, we're going to talk about the number 10, where Szoboszlai is. Szoboszlai is an absolutely fantastic player, and I think that, like McAllister, he would thrive beyond belief within a system like this, because he would be very, very involved. And I believe the more Szoboszlai has the ball, the more confident he becomes. So Szoboszlai would kind of be the focal point in the creative area of Arne Slot's system. However, in cases that we may not have Szoboszlai, there's a player that I think would fit in perfectly, and I think that we need to utilize him more and more. We should utilize him more this season, but I think with Arne Slot coming in, he will definitely be giving this man chances, because he is Dutch, he is young, he has a great amount of potential. I think we could see a lot out of this kid like we did when he was at Ajax. And that is Mr. Ryan Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch could be absolutely fantastic in that number 10 role as well. And maybe even if we have McAllister in the Endo slot, we could have Gravenberch playing where McAllister is as well, if we need to do that from time to time. And so that last position that I want to talk about is the right winger, because Mo Salah is getting up there in age, and there's been lots of talk surrounding his performances this season. Now, am I saying that we should get rid of Mo? Absolutely not. I would love Mo to retire a Red. I think that would be absolutely awesome. He's been one of our best ever players, one of the best ever wingers in Premier League history. But if we do move on from Mo Salah, who is a player that we could have slot in at that right wing that we currently already have at the club that I think, given the time and the opportunity, could become an incredible player? And that player is Harvey Elliott. Now, Harvey Elliott, I think, is an absolutely fantastic player with a boatload, like massive boatloads of potential. I believe if we were to give him the chance, the opportunity, and the time to kind of perfect this right wing role under Arne Slot with how he can develop players and how I was highlighting Connor Bradley earlier, I think we could see Harvey Elliott develop at a stupid rate. He would be playing like Diaz did when I was highlighting those wingers staying out wide when we are pressing and trying to get the ball back. One of those wingers stays out wide. I think that Harvey Elliott, like Luis Diaz, is perfect for that type of role. And even if we aren't utilizing Harvey Elliott out wide all the time, we know he can slot in at central midfield or even as a number 10 if we need him to. And speaking of slotting into the system, there are two players that I haven't highlighted yet that would definitely be pretty good squad players for Arne Slot's system. Those are Curtis Jones and Joe Gomez. Now, Curtis Jones would be best suited to either playing the Endo role or the McAllister role while coming off of the bench. And if we were to start him, definitely more so that Endo role. And with Joe Gomez, he could play either wing back position or even as a central defender to give Virgil van Dijk or Konate a break. However, say Arne Slot ends up bringing over a player or two from Feyenoord, who are some of those players that I could potentially see coming over and where would they plug in to this system? The first one is Mr. Lusterel Gutrudia. He is a very versatile defender who can play center back, right back, left back, defensive midfield. And when plugged into this system, say it is that best 11, Gutrudia would be that right back who would invert, allowing Trent to play the McAllister role. McAllister would then move to that Endo role. Now another would be the midfielder, Mats Vijver. How would Mats end up fitting into this system? We would plug him in at the McAllister role to start, because I think McAllister and Vijver could kind of interchange throughout the match. One play that ball winner, one play more so that segundo volante, the late arriver. And say when there would be that switch, McAllister more so to that segundo volante and Vijver to that ball winner, we would see Sobo move over, McAllister move up. You'd have Vijver go central, Robertson and Trent cut in. I am very confident in a system like this that sees McAllister and Sobo up together with the likes of Salah, Diaz, Nunez, whoever we may be playing up top, and then Robertson, Vijver, and Alexander-Arnold kind of being that curtain behind them defensively and playmaking wise. But let's say we bring in someone to kind of be like a squad player, like Curtis Jones or Joe Gomez. Who would that be? That would end up being David Hanko. He would know the system already, and coming off the bench and knowing exactly what to do, that would be a great bonus to this. We could see Hanko play where Robertson plays. We could see him play in defensive midfield where Endo plays, or even, once again, like Joe Gomez, come in to give Van Dijk or Konate a break. But then there is probably the least most likely move to happen with bringing a player over, and that is the number 9 position, the striker. I think if Santi Jimenez were to come over, it would be pretty fun, and he knows the system perfectly already. So you would end up having that legitimate target forward up top that already knows the system, and you would have Gakpo or Nunez or even Jota to come off the bench and play that position as well, which all those players I just mentioned can also probably play off the wings. So all in all, with the Arne Slot move to Liverpool, we have a manager that can cultivate an amazing culture that people want to be in and around at all times. We have a manager that can develop players into amazing talents, as well as a manager that, not with a whole bunch of resources, can still build very competitive teams and constantly compete for silverware. And not to mention, the system that he likes to utilize already is a pretty pressing system, which a lot of the players are very used to at Liverpool. And now a lot of people probably see Arne Slot and it's like, oh god, another bald manager from the Dutch league. We got another Erik ten Hag. No, we don't. We have Arne Slot, the first Arne Slot and the only Arne Slot, who has proven he has what it takes to build very competitive teams, very competitive systems, develop players, and have a team that is always going to perform on the day. I think that Arne Slot was just waiting for an opportunity to prove himself on the big stage. Now, this is one of the biggest stages that there is in the world of football. You have Liverpool, you have Man U, you got Real Madrid, you got Barcelona. That type of level of stage is what he has now found himself at. So will all the success that he has had in the past and the way that he builds his sides and everything be able to come to fruition at Liverpool and help this move pay off? As a Liverpool fan, all I can do is hope and dream that it does. So there we have it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so on the sub button. I haven't done a video like this in basically a year, and it was on the same club as last time as well. So if you enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to let me know down in the comment section below, and I will definitely do more videos like this. I absolutely love doing videos like this, covering managers and teams, players, and whatnot. So get those comments in down below and let me know if you want to see more of this. But with that being said, if you guys would like to continue binge watching videos here on the channel, I'll be popping up a video on screen right now where I do a video like this, but covering the club in my hometown city, St. Louis SC, and our miraculous start to the season last year in the MLS. But until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.